So in the last video of this series, I want to explore Maltego. This is going to be more of a hybrid reconnaissance tool. Some of it's passive, some of it's active. So it kind of is in that bar in between. The purpose of this video is we're going to be exploring Maltego and understanding part of its functions. So first of all, Maltego is an open source intelligence tool. It graphically links and analyzes what content is there. It is used for gathering and connecting information for more of an investigative type task. So let's jump into Kali and let's see what we can do. All right, so in Kali, underneath information gathering, you should see Maltego. Maltego is pretty powerful. So first of all, we have options. What are we going to be doing? We're going to go ahead and we're going to use the Maltego CE Free, the Community Edition. That's going to limit us to what we can do. Read through the terms and services. We do need an account, so go ahead and log in. Create an account. All right, so I paused it. I created an account. I'm going to go ahead and log in. Go through the initialization process. It's going to configure it. Because, again, I'm using a free version, I'm only getting an API valid key for X amount of time. That's fine. The transformers are going to be like functions that we're able to perform. We can automatically send errors. I'm going to ignore. Our default web browser is Firefox. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a blank page. So again, understand the policy procedures. So here's a Maltego. I'm going to go ahead and maximize the screen. What can we do? Well, this is an investigative tool. We can do just about anything. We can start off with maybe a domain name. Maybe we have a company and we want to investigate it. So actually, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to drag a domain over. So we're going to go, we can right click on it. We can actually do our different functions. If you double click on it, you get some options. I'm going to change that. So hackthebox.eu. And so now that's the domain that I want to investigate. So first thing I want to do is I want to look up owner details. So maybe I want to do email addresses. It will run our function and it will see what it can pull. Well, it pulled one email at this group. And we can actually start drilling down deeper. Is there a GPS coordinates? Is there IP address information associated with this? So it's running to see if it can find other entities. No, it can't, which that's fine. So instead of doing that, I'm going to go ahead and see email addresses from the domain. Email address from the whois. I'm going to go ahead and use the search engine. I'm going to let it return to see what I can find. All right, it really isn't finding a whole bunch of entities, so that's fine. So maybe this is not a good option. Maybe we can drill down using a different organization. So I switched it up. I'm going to go to Google. Google's a little bit easier, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do DNS from the domain. Let's look at its interesting robotext. Let's see what pops up. So it's going to run this transform and we're going to see the output. So we're starting to get different test records, test.mx, testclients.google.com. So these are all different DNS names, subdomains that were there. Not quite what I was looking for. let's say I want to just do MX records. So it can pull out the different MX records. And the nice thing here is, if we're doing MX records, it doesn't let me deselect them. Maybe I want to go ahead, I want to resolve the IP address. I want to see what their IP addresses are. I want to see if I can take them down and get more detail. So here's the domain names. Here are the actual IP addresses for each one of these pieces of information. So what information can we do from this address? So I'm going to go ahead and do alt2.aspmx.i.google.com. I want to see what I can do. I want to see there's ownership details. Well, I get 2 domain names, email accounts from the google.com from this nick. I get a ARIN contacts at Google, and I get a network abuse at Google. What else can I pull? Maybe I can pull other DNS names using reverse DNS. Well, I'm also able to pull a dg.in.f27. Well, it looks like le100.net. Well, that happens to be, I know that happens to be one of the resolvers for Google's data centers. We can look at the relationships, the incoming, we can see some of the more general details, we can see their address, we can see their dates. So now that I know that this address is associated with this data center, I want to convert back to a domain name. So this one actually translates back to le100.net. Well, what else is attached to this? Are there any name servers attached? Well, we also see there are 4 Google name servers. Are there any other common DNS names attached to this? All right, so it did not find any entities, any domain names. What about any websites? I'm going to do a quick lookup. All right, maybe not. So again, as we start drilling down, we can see what information is there. These are very investigative. What's interesting is when you have certain details, you can drill down quite a bit on an organization. If you have someone's name or number, you can drill down a lot more. And this starts getting you detailed information about organizations. From google.com, I was able to pull some addresses. I can pull subdomains. From the addresses, I can pull different email addresses. I'm going to go back up here to the google.com. I'm going to do all transforms. And I'm going to see if I can find email addresses, people. Maybe I want to do phone numbers. Oh, happens to be that I can only use that with paid versions of Maltego. So that didn't quite work out well. So the interesting thing is some of these transforms are free, some of them are not, which that I knew. What about URLs? So again, as we're digging down, sometimes we'll find nothing, sometimes we'll find more. This is one of those tools that you have to actually investigate and play with. In a separate video, I did searching for Taylor Swift. And I was able to find her social media accounts. I was able to drill down and do a lot of people searching just looking up Taylor Swift. So you can find a lot of details with Maltego by just exploring individuals. So I'm actually going to have some challenges in our project, actually having learners investigate what they can find through Maltego. So we have some exercises using this. If you have any questions or concerns, definitely please reach out. Again, this was just a brief overview of how to use this tool for more of an investigative process. Thank you. Have a good evening.